Forgivitude. Forgivitude. That combination of forgiveness and gratitude that runs congruent and throughout my entire inside game process, my inside game strategy. Forgiving myself and others, and also finding gratitude in what led me to forgiveness. See, a lot of times people will have this impression that the most important thing is to never be triggered by things, to never be upset by things. And when they are, they start to even judge the fact that I can't believe I'm still triggered by that. I can't believe that still upsets me. When it's the very things that trigger us, the very things that upset any aspect of our own peacefulness, that we need to be grateful for, to forgive ourselves for those judgments, to be grateful for, because without those moments, how do we know where our work is? How do we know where our deepening work in consciousness lies? That's why the inside game is so powerful, because it allows us to catch ourselves in situations and circumstances. The other day, I was showering, something I do fairly often, and it happened so fast and almost without warning that I find myself in a situation where I'm so completely invested in my past, completely and utterly invested in my past, when I'm actually winning arguments in the shower by myself. Sometimes I catch myself like gritting my teeth, like my body is so invested in, like I was gritting my teeth thinking about all the things I was going to say to this person and how I was going to annihilate them with words. Words being the sword of choice, the weapon of choice. And then I catch myself. And I go, wow, man, I went there fast. Like that's 0 to 60, like in a fraction of a second. Bam. I used to get upset with myself. In the early days of my own work, I used to get upset with myself. Like, I can't believe I'm doing that. What is wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with any of us when we do that. Truth is, we're all undefeated in the shower having an argument with somebody who isn't there. We're all undefeated. But what I've learned to do is to not judge that, is to understand that I'm going to be triggered from time to time. Sometimes more times than I would care to want to be triggered. But that just reveals an opportunity, an opening where I can dig in a little bit deeper. Greater opportunity for growth and healing is waiting for me in that moment. And if I judge it, that's okay. I can then forgive myself. And then I can move into gratitude for the simple fact that I was able to utilize something for my growth and upliftment, something that was unpleasant in my body, but was necessary to reveal itself in that moment. And I never, ever go, I'm done with this. I'm done with that. Like I've run the gamut on all the work that's necessary around that. I'm done. I'm good. Like I'm fine now. No. I always leave room. I'm grateful for the growth that I've followed, the growth that I've experienced, but there's always more opportunities for growth and healing. There's always potentially a deeper cut. And that's why having those inside game strategies are so important. Because without them, I simply become overly invested in my past, as most people will do. And in that process, go unconscious. It's easy for me when I forget who I am, for the voice of who I used to be to jump in. Could be pulled into it just because my energy was low. Maybe I wasn't feeling well physically. Maybe I mentally and emotionally was a little off. And somehow just simply forgot where I was going. And the voice of where I once was, the voice of where I've been, steps in, takes over. Now, the process of being my best observer means that it doesn't necessarily go on for a long period of time. So when I catch myself when you get to catch yourself. You get to look at it. And some days you go, oof, wow, can't believe I went there. Okay. And then other days you go, man, something must be seriously off with me if I'm still going there. There's a judgment. All of it is okay. All of it is okay. See, we have to stop denying those parts of ourselves that are still in school. We're still in Earth School. That's a good thing. So sometimes we judge, and then we have inside game strategies that we utilize, such as forgiveness. And other times we don't judge, and we just move right into gratitude that we're able to catch ourselves and see that happening and go, because we understand and respect and honor the process, that it's not always clean, that it's perfect in its imperfection. And then sometimes we need to do both. Forgivitude. It's all good. It's all there for us. It's all there. The other day, somebody direct messaged me about my podcast, The Inside Game with Mitch Newman, which you're listening to now or watching on YouTube. And they said, "Oh man, I really didn't want to listen because I saw the title and I really don't want to listen because I'm really not ready. But then I listened; it was exactly what I needed to hear." Awesome. I think they were ready. See, we have to stop denying those parts of ourselves, our past. They're going to show up from time to time. With the greatest of intention, the greatest inside game strategy, which is why you have an inside game strategy, to deal with that, to work with that when that occurs. But with all of it, it's part of the process of life. It's all part of it. It's how we learn. It's how we measure ourselves in a way that says, I've grown. I've gotten bigger. I've gotten bolder. I've become more aware. I'm catching myself faster. And then sometimes no. I've talked about this before because this is something that was very prevalent for me when I was younger. And it still sometimes occurs, but I don't sit there and go, oh my God. I can work with that. But sometimes I will have a delayed reaction. I'll be in a conversation with somebody, and then 2 days later, I'll think about the conversation, and all of a sudden I go, that wasn't okay. And I'll be triggered 2 days later. I don't know where that comes from. I'm not 100% sure. I've got some ideas around it. Times that perhaps I wasn't paying close enough attention or didn't allow myself the opportunity to feel something in the moment and just delayed reactioned it at a time when 2 days later maybe something else was going on and I got triggered by that. It's all good. See, it's the awareness that you have and the commitment that you make towards the process. And that commitment looks different for everybody. See, a lot of times people dance around what I do. They dance with it within themselves. They dance around the inside game. Yeah, I've been doing the inside game. This is really cool. I mean, this is really, really helping me. And then all of a sudden their relationship will take off in a really positive direction, or their business will take off in a really uplifting direction. And all of a sudden ego kicks in and they just lose track of themselves in the process, and they leave themselves wide open for the past to kind of reappear. And what they left behind in that moment, what they originally left behind, which was the past, all of a sudden became present. And what they left behind was their inside game. And they go, oh, God, I need to get back to that. I forgot about that. God, when I was doing it, everything was going so well. Well, there may be a relationship there between your inside game and your outside game. They're in partnership, from my perspective. They need each other. They require each other for sustainable long-term growth, to be able to weather storms, to go through seasons. But sometimes people just choose to dance with it. Well, I was doing it, and then I stopped, and then I started again. Well, listen, how you approach and dance with your inside game is probably how you dance with a lot of other things in your life. Comes into play a little bit here, a little bit there. You forget about it, you put it on the shelf, you come back to it. You're reminded of it. You see somebody post something and it reminds you, oh, I haven't been doing that. I need to get back to that. It's all okay. It's all okay even when you're judging it. Because it's in the judgment that you get to learn, like, where else in my life do I judge myself so harshly? Where I don't give myself a break? Where I'm actually dancing with really being that best version of me. And that person who sent me the direct message, I know they're ready. I think they know they're ready. But there's such a familiarity with that old voice inside of us. That part of us, there's always a part of us that thinks if we somehow lose that, we won't necessarily be able to find ourselves. Because everything else feels so new. Because we're not quite ready to trust how everything is progressing and how we're moving forward. And that's what the past wants. The past wants you to not trust where you're going. The past wants you to forget the direction you're heading in. Wants its old job back. It wants back in the game. And that's okay. That's okay. We're okay. Sometimes that part for me, and I think this is super important, sometimes that part for me, when I realize that it's not trying to hurt me, it's trying to protect me, it's trying to save me from an unknown. It's well-intentioned, even though it necessarily doesn't necessarily work anymore. And it's actually creating more havoc. It doesn't know that. It just knows what it knows. It's not realizing. The past doesn't go, oh, God, I realize I'm fucking you up and you really should stop now. No, the past knows what it knows. It knows that it kept you alive for whatever period of time, kept you going, sustained you in that way for whatever period of time, and it just does what it does. That's the title. That's the job title. But sometimes I look at it and I go, what if we change the title? Sometimes for me, that critical voice that I started to judge, oh, there's that critical part of me that's jumping in here. So I became at odds with it. So I try to go, oh, I got to cut this out like it's a cancer or something. I got to cut this out of my life. Can't do this anymore. I got to find a way to cut it out. It's like, no, like, what if now that I've merged into this new company of which I am the CEO, the adult me is the CEO, what if I just gave it a new title? What if I just said, when that voice shows up, I go, oh, that's that voice of reason. That voice that wants to protect me. The voice that wants to make sure that I'm I'm being aware of the steps that I'm taking. So I simply reframed the voice. I simply reframed it. But I got granular on what its intention was, which was to be of support. The part of me that perhaps is scared is the part of me that can absolutely go, okay, I'm just, I'm able, as me, as the CEO, the adult self, I'm able to identify that voice as, that voice is just looking out for me. That part of me is just concerned for my safety. Thank you. I'm grateful for you. I forgive myself for judging that part of me as bad or wrong or evil. I no longer allow that past and those parts of me from my past to become excuses. Because I really am able to step back and really genuinely, really deeply observe on a conscious level the intention around all of that. So your brain is designed to keep you alive. It's not trying to kill you. It's just not a big fan of the unknown. It wants to do what it knows to keep you alive. Because what it's done in the past, if you're listening to this, has worked so far. It's worked so far. So you catch yourself. Just as I caught myself in the shower. I even found myself I was standing in the kitchen the other day and was doing it again. I mean, I was in it. And all of a sudden it was like almost like just woke up from it, caught myself and realized, oh, wow. And I went, oh, wow. And I took a deep breath. I go, come on. You got this. This isn't what this is really about. It's not really about what they said or what they did or the case that you have to build against them. No, this is about something inside of you that's ready to finally speak your truth, live your truth, be your truth. That you, for whatever reason, were unwilling to do in this situation and circumstance in the past, but you're willing to do now. But that's something new in this situation. It's new, and the past doesn't like new. It likes predictable. Let's get you all riled up and heated up and defensive, projecting your shit on somebody else, hiding from the truth of who you are. No, that's who I was. And those parts of me come with me, they travel with me, and I can reframe them. I can give them new names. I can give them new job titles. Because I know at their heart of hearts that they're well-intentioned, that their desire was to keep me alive and to keep me safe. But that's the point of the inside game. Having an inside game strategy allows me to work with that so it doesn't derail me for long periods of time. So if I judge it, I know how to forgive myself and others and move into gratitude and bring those two together. Forgivitude. We're all in this, folks. This is Earth School. We are in it. We're playing. We're in the sandbox. Some moments look better than others. Some days look better than others. But they're all there for our growth and upliftment. Every single moment. I'm Mitch Newman. We'll see you again next time.